Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I talked about yesterday, having a project 19 times over the original cost estimate is obviously very troubling, and I think it is a prime example of why taxpayers think that the federal government isn't spending taxpayer dollars wisely. I used to be in the construction business years ago, and when we changed the project, we signed a contract for a certain amount, and when you had changes, there were change orders that set forth how much extra it would cost. So I'm trying to understand how something can be 19 times over the project. How often do you communicate with NASA? Is there like a contract similar to what I described? Do you go back to them and communicate with them on a regular basis and say, you know what, we had human error and there was a problem and now it's going to cost, you know, $2 million more, or we're changing the project because technology is more advanced now and we want to do this and it's going to cost, you know, $1 billion more? Or, you know, can you kind of explain the process, because I need to understand how we got here?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and obviously for those who have not observed how something of this complexity gets created, a very, very spot-on question. It is the reason that this is a cost-type contract. We work side by side with NASA every single day. No significant decision is taken on the program unilaterally by us. So in terms of the degree of communication and coordination, it is exceptionally high. And NASA holds us to that transparency standard, that they do not want us unilaterally making decisions. And so it is important that we be able to work it hand in hand as we go through it, simply due to the complexity. NASA has extraordinary people who have great experience working on so many different things. Their experience applied to this program, just as the experience of our scientists and engineers applied to the program. We have to have both. And so we have to be able to make decisions on it together, and it is a daily interaction. It's not just, you know, sending letters back and forth. It is daily communication, daily interaction, so that the best decisions can get made together.
And so, Mr. Chair and Sir, and either one of you can answer, so NASA gave you the okay at every step of the way for this extra cost, extra time delay. Is that what you're saying?
We would only take actions that NASA approves in that regard.
If I could add to your question, which I also think is very good, I think Wes's comments were right on. For space, it's not an awful lot different than what you described from your building experience. The most important thing, I suspect, in your business was to get the first bid correct, to get the price correct. I think if you look back through the history of this program, and if you look at an earlier review group called the Cassani team that reported out in 2010, I think, or 11, they highlighted that NASA had done an incredibly poor job of cost estimating on this program, and I think that's true. So if again in your business, if you don't start off with a good estimate, you're in trouble from day one. The second thing is that your customers, I'm sure, as it was mentioned, decide they want to remodel the kitchen. It's very important when that's done that be costed, priced, and be added to the budget. So, and it should not be, which it's easy to do, we're just going to add this requirement and we won't worry about what it costs, and then it's obviously going to cause a problem downstream. The third thing is, I suspect that you probably, I don't know the nature of the kind of stuff you were involved with, but you could envision that there was a very, very unusual staircase, and that got underestimated as the cost to do it. Or the people who were doing it, it was stretching their ability to do it, so they ran into the problem. So I think the analogy you're talking about, I'm really trying to just encourage you, is really quite good. And it's not undifferent than this. It's just that the multiplier is so much higher in doing this. I'm not trying to excuse any of it, so don't read that into it. But the process is, just because it's a space activity, the process, in my view, is not a mystery. It's not significantly different than, I'm sure, your experience in the construction world.
Okay.